Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
San Francisco, it's been good to the D-backs this year. Diamondbacks won 3 of 4 from the defending champs earlier this year. And back today, looking for a 3-game sweep of the Giants, who've lost 7 straight home games. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball is presented by Sanderson Ford as the D-backs go for their first sweep at AT&T Park in 7 years, right here on Fox Sports Arizona. And good afternoon from AT&T Park. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthune, Bob Brentley along the way. Diamondbacks and Giants. D-backs go for the sweep. And an interesting pitching story developing in this series. The first 2 D-back starters here this weekend against the Giants have pitched at least 5 no-hit innings. And the Giants starter today, Bob, Chris Heston, in his last start in New York, pitched a no-hitter.
Well, you would expect this to be a very low-scoring game given what Chris Heston did last time out. He really had it all working. This guy is normally a ground ball pitcher, one of the best in the National League at inducing ground balls, but had 11 punch-outs in the game against no walks. He was really on top of that sinker, slider, changeup combination.
And for the D-backs, Chase Anderson, terrific Friday night. Allen Webster, very impressive in his D-backs debut yesterday.
Well, these Giants hitters have issues with guys that throw good straight changeups. We saw a real good one from Chase on Friday night. Allen Webster, a good changeup in his own right, and we know Ruby De La Rosa has a good changeup, so expect to see a lot of those from the D-back staff today.
So Heston for the Giants and Ruby De La Rosa for the Diamondbacks, who have brought out the brooms, going for the 3-game sweep in San Francisco. First pitch is next on Fox Sports Arizona. Chris Heston, his last start was Tuesday against the Mets, and he threw a no-hitter. The first Giants no-hitter in New York since Carl Hubble at the Polo Grounds in 1929. But the Diamondbacks are here, winners of 6 of 9 against the Giants this year. They have not swept a series at AT&T Park since July of 2008. But Ender Inciarte and company, Bob, in position to do just that here today.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks, for whatever reason, are very, very comfortable playing here at AT&T Park. They played some of their best baseball of the last couple of years in this very ballpark against a really good team that's won the World Series 3 of the last 5 years. Go figure.
And so they're up against the kid who authored the no-no his last time out. The numbers on Chris Heston, his 13th start, The Giants are 8-4 when Heston starts this year. They've won 5 of his last 6 starts.
And I mentioned generally a ground ball pitcher with that heavy sinking fastball. His slider has a lot of downward movement, has a pretty good changeup that he'll mix in from time to time. But when he's on top of his game and able to spot that sinker on both sides of the plate like he did at Citi Field in New York, he can be a tough customer.
Yeah, you will see Heston. His stuff moves a lot. Nothing is straight. The lineup for Chip Hale's Diamondbacks today.
Ender Inciarte out in right field today, leading off. A.J. Pollock in center. Paul Goldschmidt, as usual, he's red hot against the Giants in this series. He'll be at first base. David Peralta out in left field. Chris Owings at second base. Jake Lamb over at third. Wellington Castillo doing the catching. Cliff Pennington at short today, and right-hander Ruby De La Rosa on the mound.
Giants have lost 7 straight at AT&T Park. Defending champs haven't lost 8 in a row at home since September of '93. But Heston, 1 pitch, 1 out. He retires Inciarte. Take a look at the Giants around Chris Heston. It's the MidFirst Bank starting defense for San Francisco.
Yeah, a little different look, day game after a night game for Bruce Bochy. Aoki in left, Maxwell in center, Parker over in right field. It'll be Casey McGee and Brandon Crawford on the left side of the infield with Joe Panik and Brandon Belt on the right side. Andrew Susac giving Buster Posey a day off behind the plate. And the right-hander Chris Heston on the mound.
A.J. Pollock. Here's a strike. Adam Hamari is our plate umpire this afternoon on a beautiful San Francisco Sunday. A.J. 6th in the National League and hitting at .325. He's already tied his career high with 8 home runs. This is bounced to McGee at third. He is a ground ball pitcher and can be at times when he's on Chris Heston very efficient out there. 3 pitches, 2 outs.
It's that late movement on the sinker that causes some quick pitch at bats. We saw Ender chase the first pitch. AJ chase the second pitch. They look like they're going to be in the strike zone. That little bit of late movement takes them down below, hit the top half of the ball, and lots of grounders.
Wind is blowing out here on a lovely day in San Francisco to dead center field as Goldie steps in, now leading the major leagues in hitting at .355. Strike 1.
As you can see from the velocity, not overpowering. His fastball 90, 91, 92 on occasion with the tailwind, but he relies on that movement and location.
Goldie 9 hits in 19 at bats on the road trip so far. He's hit safely in 4 straight. Heston, more than half the pitches he throws are sinkers. Ground ball rate of just over 56%. He's top 10 in the National League.
Heston on his way off the mound that time. That's a pitch that he was getting in New York. That backdoor sinker starts off the plate to a right-hander. It works its way back to the corner. Watch Heston. Yeah, that was a strike last start.
Well, able to hold off again, and it's even 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, you'll see our graphics lower left-hand corner for you. You'll get the batter's batting average. That's new this weekend. The first time through the order, and then his updated game stats as we move along. 2-2 to Goldie. Goldie with 4 hits and a walk in this series. He has been getting pitched to more often on this road trip through LA and now San Francisco. Only 1 base on balls the last 4 games. And we talked about how he'd been pitched around almost incessantly. 15 walks over a span of 41 plate appearances to begin this month, but that has eased a bit here. Just does get a piece as Susac took that one.
Yeah, of course, Andrew Susac saying I get to start 1 day a week and take a foul tip off my foot in the first inning. That's just great.
Can't wait to do it again next week. Buster Posey getting the day off.
Kind of surprising, really. Posey has big numbers against Ruby De La Rosa. 4 for 6 lifetime with a homer.
2-2. Well, you can see how it's hard to square it up against this guy. His stuff moves so much. When he threw the no-no last week at Citi Field against the Mets, Chris Heston allowed only 2 balls out of the infield. Weak contact, a lot of it. Goldie gets a hold of that one, lifts it down the left field line, but it's foul in the bullpen.
Yeah, Heston is definitely one of those pitchers. As a hitter, you tell yourself, make him get it up. See the ball up around belt high, because with that late movement down, it'll be in the hitting zone. If you chase anything down around the knees, it's probably going to end up in the dirt.
Ninth pitch of the at-bat on the way. 4 straight foul balls. Another 2-2. And it's full. Boy, he is just the master of this. Paul Goldschmidt. Down 0-2. Suddenly you look up and it's 3-2. It's remarkable how often we see that. But when you're leading the majors in hitting, that tends to happen. .355 batting average, second in the majors in OPS, behind only Bryce Harper. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here it is. Ball 4. That is a big league at bat right there.
Boy, especially after 2 outs on 3 pitches to start the ball game, you want to do something to extend Chris Heston a little bit in this first inning, and Goldie gave him a long battle there before finally drawing the base on balls.
Started 0-2 and gets the walk, and there he is, only 2 behind Harper. And a chance now for David Peralta. David in the cleanup spot this afternoon. .264 and 5 homers for David. 28 RBIs. Had a couple of hits yesterday. Drove in a run, scored a run. He is 3 for 9 on the road trip. And he's hit well in this ballpark in his brief time in the big leagues.
RBI single in that extended first inning against Ryan Vogelsong yesterday.
8 games at AT&T Park. Peralta has hit over .360 here with 4 extra base hits and 4 RBIs. Goldie at first, 2 outs. And there goes Goldschmidt. The throw from Suzak is dropped, and Goldie's in there with his 10th stolen base this year. Another great jump by a Diamondback base runner down there with first base coach Dave McKay.
Talking to Chip Hale about that yesterday, and he said it's all on Dave McKay. We've seen a number of Diamondback runners do just what Paul Goldschmidt did. Take off while the pitcher's still standing on the mound. They do that because Dave McKay has spotted something in that pitcher's delivery that lets him know when they're going to throw over to first.
1-1 to Peralta. He did not go. That's Brian Gorman, the crew chief, down there at third. And it's 2 balls and a strike.
I would expect the Diamondbacks to be very aggressive on the bases today against Heston and Susac. Susac's only thrown out 2 of now 19 attempted base stealers.
Diamondbacks have scored first in each of the first 2 games of this series, and they have a 2-out threat here in the first. 2-2. Chris Heston from Palm Bay, Florida, went to Bayside High for you Saved by the Bell fans, and pitched collegiately at East Carolina, 12th round pick in 09. Called strike 3. So Heston strands the 2-out walk. We are just underway at AT&T Park on a glorious sunny Sunday in San Francisco. AT&T Park, where D-backs pitchers have held the Giants hitless through the first 5 innings in both games in this series so far. And on the mound for the Diamondbacks this afternoon, looking to continue that trend, your Arizona Ford starting pitcher Ruby De La Rosa, looking for his first win in more than a month.
And we'll keep an eye on Ruby today and see how many times he shakes off Wellington Castillo behind the plate. Chip Hale was a little irritated with Ruby in a couple of his starts that he didn't stick with the game plan and go with what the catcher was calling. So we'll keep an eye on Ruby today. You see his arsenal of pitches. Changeup could be a really good weapon for him against this Giants offense.
Orioles leads it off for San Francisco, the left fielder. Over the mound. Here comes Cliff Pennington. He can't make a bare-hand play, and Aoki's aboard. 5th in the league in hitting at .326, and he's aboard to open up the ball game.
Penny tried to get his body in position so he could grab the ball and throw all in one motion. Unfortunately, didn't come up with it cleanly. That'll go as an infield hit for Aoki.
Day off for Nick Ahmed today, so Pennington getting the start at shortstop. And here's Joe Panik. Panik top 10 in the league in hitting at just under .320 with 6 homers. And he has it safely in 16 of his last 17 games, adding better than .370 over that span. Ball 1.
And this Giants offense in 18 innings before today, they had scored 2 runs. They both came in the 6th inning yesterday. 17 of 18 innings. They did not score in the first 2 games.
And the Giants, during this 7-game home losing streak in which they're now stuck, they've been outscored 36-16. This is it's weird because the Giants, when they were in New York before coming here, they knocked Matt Harvey all over the yard, and we saw how good Matt Harvey was at Chase Field a couple of weeks ago, but the Giants just beat him up.
I think Harvey exhausted himself pitching against the D-backs.
That happens. 1-0 to Panik. And they've not lost 8 straight at home, the Giants, since September of 1993. I got to win one here.
Just take one game, move along.
All right, then. A ball and a strike. This is away, and it's 2-1. He'll keep a close eye on Aoki down there at first. He's got 12 stolen bases this year. There you go. Last time they lost 8 in a row at home, this ballpark did not exist.
Well, that was back when there were just 2 divisions in each league. The Giants were in the National League West with the Atlanta Braves.
How about that? I'll take geography for 100, Alex. 3-1. Ruby nibbling a little bit here at Panik. Brandon Belt on deck. Ruby winless in his last 5 starts. His ERA for the season has gone up after each one of his last 5 starts. Has not won since May the 12th. 3-1. There goes Aoki. Bounced up the middle. Owens is there, and they move the runner along. 1 out. The lineup for Bruce Bochy's defending World Series champion Giants.
Yeah, we've seen the 2 guys at the top. Aoki in left field, Panik at second base. Brandon Belt, the first baseman, making his way to the plate. Brandon Crawford, the shortstop, will be cleaning up today. Casey McGee getting a start at third base. Justin Maxwell moves over to center field today. Jarrett Parker in right. Andrew Susac doing the catching, and Chris Heston on the mound.
So 1 on and 1 out for Belt. Aoki in scoring position as the no-hitter went away. 1 batter into the ball game for Ruby. Now he'll work to Belt. Shift is on for the Diamondbacks, and it's ball 1. Belt has 1 hit in the series so far, a double yesterday. Just his 3rd extra base hit this month. He's hitting under .220 in June. .289 on the year with 8 homers. That OPS is by far a career high right now. Ruby having trouble throwing strikes here. 8 pitches, 5 of them balls. And he's behind on Belt 2-0. Crawford on deck. Down the right field line, but foul. A look at the Diamondbacks around Ruby De La Rosa, our mid-first bank starting defense.
David Peralta in left, A.J. Pollock in center, Ender Inciarte over in right field, Jake Lamb and Cliff Pennington on the left side of the infield with Chris Owings and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Wellington Castillo doing the catching for right-hander Ruby De La Rosa.
Asmani Tomas and Nick Ahmed getting the day off today. 2-1 to Belt. This is away again, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Brandon Crawford in the cleanup spot for Bruce Bochy today. He'll be next. Missed away. 2 on, 1 out for the cleanup man.
Before Brandon Crawford makes his way to the plate, let's take a look at our Valley Honda keys to the game today. No for Mr. Heston. 1 is enough in a calendar year. And for Ruby De La Rosa, you'd like to believe he would follow the leaders. He's already given up a hit, something Chase Anderson and Alec Webster did not do through 5 innings. But we'll take a win from Ruby today. Follow the leaders.
He's got to get this guy here. It's Brandon Crawford. And amazing to think about his transformation as a major leaguer. He was all glove when he first came up, and now here he is in the cleanup spot and leading the Giants in homers and RBIs. Just under 280 for the year. Okie is the runner at second. Brandon Belt at first. Right at Ruby, knocks it down. Can he recover in time? He throws it high. Goldie's off the bag, and the bases are loaded. Ken Crenshaw, the trainer, out there with Chip Hale, and they'll check on De La Rosa.
Looking at his right hand. Might have still had a play if the throw would have been right to Goldie. A little bit too high. Goldie had to come off the bag to make sure that ball didn't get away. We're going to have him throw a couple just to make sure he's okay.
They rule it a hit for Brandon Crawford. And the concern now is for the Diamondback starter. De La Rosa coming off a loss at Dodger Stadium in his previous start. That was last Monday, first game on this road trip. He gave up 9 runs on 10 hits in only 5 innings. He was done in by a pair of 3-run homers, and he's good to go here to continue the ball game with the bases loaded and just 1 out. You've got Aoki at third, Brandon Belt the runner at second, and Brandon Crawford at first, and here comes Casey McGee.
Yeah, Ruby took 3 warm-up throws there after getting hit by that line drive. None of them in the strike zone, but apparently not suffering any ill effects. And he's going to go to work here on Casey McGee.
Difficult season in San Francisco for last year's National League Comeback Player of the Year, Casey McGee. Just barely over 200 this year, and he looks at strike 1. Spent much of last year hitting over 300 in Miami. Career with the bases loaded, about a .320 hitter. He has 1 grand slam this season. Bases full, 1 out. Double play ball here. Pennington, Owings, and Goldie with a backhand scoop. They roll it. What a big pitch that was for Ruby De La Rosa. as he gets out of a bases-loaded one-out jam. More Diamondback defense keeps this game scoreless after 1. Play ball he threw to Casey McGee, who is just a double play ball machine. He led the majors last year with 31. He's got a whole bunch more this year. Chris Owings leads off the second. CO, it's 236 and 2 homers. And still without a hit on this road trip, batting 5th in the lineup this afternoon.
Well, we know the first 3 guys. When Inciarte's in the lineup, Chip's going to lead him off. That one fouled out of play on the first side. A.J. Pollock's going to bat second. Goldie always hits third, and with a righty on the mound, David Peralta slides up to the cleanup spot, and Chris Owings provides a buffer between the 2 left-handed hitters, Jake Lamb coming up after him.
Chip has said he really wants Ender, A.J., and Goldie to all hit in the same spot all the time, so they can have some added comfort levels there. An easy grounder at Crawford. And that's the first out here in the second. And that brings up Jake Lamb with 1 out. 0 for 4 yesterday. Got a couple of hits on this road trip so far. And Jake in there right now with 304 on the year, a homer and 10 RBIs.
When the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Well, Diamondbacks have reasons to be optimistic about facing Chris Heston here today, despite the fact he threw a no-hitter in his last start. He's developed a bit of a pattern here. 4 times this year, Heston has allowed at least 5 runs in a start immediately following a start of 1 run or less. So he's very much on off this year. And Jake Lamb shoots one down the right field line. That's in the corner. Parker over to cut it off, and Jake Lamb is in at second with his 5th double. Now 3 for 18 since his return from the DL.
And Jake had a rough day yesterday. 3 pop-ups to the left side of the infield and a strikeout, but this time gets that flat bat through the hitting zone and rips a double down into that right field corner. Boy, is that good to see.
So So the D-backs with a runner at second base for the second time in as many innings against Heston. And here's the catcher, Wellington Castillo. Four for 16 with the Diamondbacks, including a double and a home run. Just under 190 on the year. Looking for a little beef here in this at bat from Wellington. Mitch Riggin, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of riders in the truck. And of course, Castillo had yesterday off. Big night in Friday's series opener with 3 hits. Lamb at second.
A lot of his teammates in Chicago, when Wellington was catching for the Cubs, used to call him Beef. It's kind of his nickname.
It's a good nickname.
Yeah.
He's a catcher after all. Hard to short. Crawford drops it and has to recover and throws it away. And here comes Jake Lamb. The Diamondbacks take a 1-0 lead. The sure-handed shortstop for the World Series champs. E6, 1-0 Arizona.
That should really be 2 errors right there. One to boot the ball, and then the second one to throw it away. Looked like Crawford peeked up ever so slightly as Lamb ran in front of him there on that ground ball and just didn't field it cleanly. Then he couldn't find it, and when he does find it, he airmails it all the way over into the first base dugout.
And you called it, BB.
Yeah.
2 errors on that play, both by Brandon Crawford. There's the bobble and there's the throw. 2 errors leads to the first D-backs run. You won't see that very often from that guy.
You know my errors now.
We have the video. Be careful.
Yes, I've had 2 on 1 play before. It's very easy.
Twice as many in 1 inning as I recall. But that worked out well for you and the Giants. There's Cliff Pennington, the starter at shortstop today. In fact, I was reading that yesterday. My wife Cindy and I were walking around the ballpark. We had tickets to the game yesterday. You know, we went to the Wall of Fame on the side of the ballpark here, and your plaque is up there, and it's right there on the plaque.
Yeah. Can't deny it.
But it ended with a walk-off homer. 2-0 to Pennington.
Looked like Susac wanted to pick down at first base after that pitch in the dirt to Pennington, but just couldn't find the handle on the ball. He's had some trouble making the exchange from glove hand to throwing hand. Picked it cleanly, and then when he went to throw to first base, he just wasn't able to get a hold of the ball.
Green 1. Cliff 1 for 4 on this road trip and 5 for his last 43 at the plate. De La Rosa, the pitcher, is on deck. 3-1 pitch. Well, the nice backhand scoop at first, and they roll the double play. So a little redemption there for the Giant infield, but 2 errors on 1 play by their shortstop Brandon Crawford has led to a 1-0 D-backs lead.
Arizona is brought to you in part by Cox Gigablast. How will you live the gig life? By Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Jack in the Box. Taste the new black pepper cheeseburger today, only at Jack in the Box.
And welcome back. Ruby DeRosa got out of a big-time jam last inning, and earlier today, Chip Hill talking about the fact that he needs to follow that game plan with catcher Wellington Castillo. And we were talking about the fact that he's been hit hard his last couple of outings. He said, look, if he's down in the zone, it's good. But if he's up, he gets a little changeup happy or fastball happy. And that's why it's important for him to listen to Wellington. He called it today a no-shake theory. He wants him to not shake him off very much at all, if at all. And that's one of the big keys for Chip.
Justin Maxwell, Jody, leads off the Giants second here. A tapper to Lamb at third, and Jake makes a nice play. They retire the center fielder for the first down. Ruby has shown, Bob, that he can be a little stubborn out there at times this year.
And you like a little bit of a stubborn streak, but not when it's stubborn against your own catcher and your own pitching coach and the game plan that you're supposed to execute in a ball game.
Does not like to give in to anybody out there. Jared Parker, the rookie right fielder, his second game of the big leagues. Batting 7th today. And he looks at strike one. Parker 0 for 3, couple of strikeouts in his major league debut yesterday. Called up from Sacramento last week when Gregor Blanco went on the 7-day concussion deal. And they lost Hunter Pence to a wrist injury right after that. So they're a little thin in the outfield these days. And Parker played just over 50 games this year at AAA Sacramento. Hit about 270 with 12 homers. And Hunter Pence is everywhere here in the ballpark, whether he's on the DL or not. They got a Hunter Pence gnome coming up. They got a Hunter Pence doll you can wrap around your head or something. I mean, you can comb his hair. This guy's a cult hero here.
And soon it will be harvest season out in the kale field in center.
Got his own garden out there. They can't use it for the bullpens. There's the kale. You never get enough.
Apparently it's a big attraction for fans that are sitting out in the bleachers. They like to go check the progress of the kale.
Well, they're big on plants here in San Francisco. 1-2 pitch. Got him. First strikeout for Ruby De La Rosa. Now we're mentioning, BB, just to follow up the interesting day you had, one of the landmark days in Giants history.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough of this.
Neither have we.
Just, I mean, I can kick them in every direction. I can make throwing errors.
4 errors in 1 inning, but 2 homers in the same game, including the walk-off winner. I think it's kind of neat that you have a famous day like that ended well. All that mattered is how it ended, right?
September 14th. Dwayne Kuiper made me a T-shirt that I still have at home.
But can you tell us what it says? No, I didn't think so. Coming from Kuiper, I doubted it. 2-0.
But in my own defense, I will explain one more time as you see Dwayne Kuiper working right next door to us in the Giants TV booth. I was supposed to catch that game. I had my gear on. I had already gone down to warm up the starting pitcher. I was sitting in the dugout talking to some of my teammates, just waiting for the game to start. And Roger Craig came out and said, "We need you to move to third base." So I took off my gear, borrowed a glove, went down there to third base, and the rest is history.
3-0 to Susac, the Giant catcher. There's the strike. All's well that ends well.
Yeah, I mean, I actually borrowed a glove of Brad Wellman, a guy that grew up here in the Bay Area, played for the Giants for a number of years, and I didn't have my infield glove on the bench at the time, so I had to borrow his, and it didn't work.
Apparently not.
It looked like that by the time the day was over.
Well, Ruby, you got 2 quick outs there to open up the inning. Walks the 8th place hitter, and the Giants will at least clear the pitcher spot here with 2 outs. As Heston will hit. This is popped up along the right field line. Here comes Ender Inciarte. And De La Rosa strands the 2 out. Milwaukee leads it 1-0 in San Francisco. Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Mix One, great taste, no face, available at local retailers. San Francisco, Steve Berthew, Bob Brenly, and Jody Jackson with you as we start the 3rd inning here on a beautiful sunny Sunday by the Bay. Ruby De La Rosa against Chris Heston. Ruby 1 for 25 this year with 8 strikeouts. They get 9, 1 away. Second strikeout for Heston, who racked up the strikeouts in that no-hitter against the Mets. 110 pitches, 72 strikes. He did not walk a batter, a career-high 11 Ks. And the impressive thing about that was, he hit 3 guys in the no-hitter. Hit 2 batters in the 4th inning and 1 in the 9th. But he struck out Munoz, Granderson, and Tejada all in a row to end the ball game, and all 3 strikeouts looking, which tells you how much his stuff was moving around that day. Here's Ender Inciarte. And Heston, in doing so, became the first pitcher since Sandy Koufax to strike out the final 3 batters of a no-hitter, and the first pitcher ever to hit 3 batters while completing a no-hitter. That's hard to do.
Yeah. I didn't see the whole ball game. I saw selected innings here and there, but I don't even know if there were any fantastic defensive plays behind him. I don't recall anybody saying that a no-hitter saving catch or a defensive play by an infielder. I think he was just on top of his game, got a lot of weak contact.
Yeah, that 2-seam sinker that comes in just about 90-91 hits Ender Inciarte right there. And it will turn him at times into a ground ball machine. 56% ground ball rate, top 10 in the league. This one gets Inciarte.
Yeah, hangs onto this slider a little bit too long. Got Ender on that front foot. He'll head on down to first base and see if he can get a jump, steal a bag.
So he hit 3 guys in the no-no. He's hit 1 today, and here's A.J. Pollock. A.J. grounded out his first time. You mentioned how Heston can be very much hit or miss this year, and has been. He's using the rotation spot of the injured Matt Cain. That was a really good start, then a not so good one, then another good one, then another not so good one. But the start prior to the no-hitter last week, had a rough time of it right here at AT&T Park against the Pirates. That was June 2nd. Lasted only 3 2/3. Gave up 5 runs, 7 hits. He had 3 walks in that game.
Threw 84 pitches in 3 2/3.
And he had another start like that earlier this year, May 17th at Cincinnati, when Heston lasted only 2 innings, 5 runs on 7 hits. So he can have some rough days out there.
I think that's a common issue for guys that have so much movement on their, especially his sinking fastball. I mean, if he throws it right at the catcher's mask, it's probably going to end up out of the strike zone, down and into a right-handed hitter. He really has to pick a target and plan on the movement of that sinker as it gets into the hitting zone. And on days when he's on top of it, he can throw a no-hitter, and on other days he really struggles with his command.
There goes Inciarte. AJ grounds it slowly to Crawford at short. He's got only 1 play. And they stay out of the double play there by starting the runner Inciarte. 2 down. And that's his bread and butter, really, Heston, the double play ball. In fact, in the minor leagues, they called him Hesto Presto because he was so oftentimes able to pull a magic act by getting a ground ball double play just when he needed one.
Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Nothing up my sleeve, presto. Here's Goldie. Walked and stole a base his first time up.
A little cross up there. A called strike with a slider, but that is not what Andrew Susac was expecting. Watch him react to this pitch. He's looking for a sinker. He reaches up where he thinks the ball's going to be and then has to come right back down and still manages to hold that slider in the strike zone.
I mean, when you've got a guy whose stuff moves as much as Heston's, you can't have those cross-ups, man, because you don't know where it's going.
And to your point earlier, the Giants pitching to Goldie with a base open here.
I don't know. It was working so well for the opposition. I don't know why you would stop. But we're not complaining. It's 0-2. Diamondbacks, all the runs they've scored in this series have come with 2 outs. Goldie just 1 base on balls the last 4 games. It's interesting that would just suddenly cease, at least, you know, for a little stretch here.
I think it depends on the attitude of the opposing manager. You do some damage early in a series, they're going to take the bat out of your hands whenever they can.
Back to the mound. This is hit slowly. Crawford charges, and he's got no play. Here comes Ender, and he runs right into an out. They've got him hung up, and that'll end the inning. Yes, they applied the tag. Third base umpire Brian Gorman down there. Yep, Chip Hale can't believe it. Ender got a little over anxious there. He thought Crawford would try and throw, and as soon as he saw him pump fake, he bit and came flying around third. But Susac was there waiting with a baseball. They'll go to the bottom third here. It's 1-0 Diamondbacks. Was not going to be able to throw out Paul Goldschmidt on that slow roller to short and thought he might steal a run there. Instead, he ran into the end of the inning as Norioki leads off the Giant third.
Unfortunately, Brandon Crawford felt the same way. He didn't think he had a chance to get Goldie at first, so he did a smart thing, fake a throw to first, and sure enough, they caught Ender rounding that bag too far at third.
Saw the reaction in the dugout from Chip Hale. And the great thing about that play is you noticed, discussing during the commercial break, that Goldie was ready to take third base.
Yeah, he was between second and third base when that rundown finally came to an end.
And what other player in the big leagues that hits .355 and hits it the way that Paul Goldschmidt does, runs the bases like that?
Nobody.
That's amazing. Tap to shortstop. Pennington's there. So a lot to keep track of on this play, but here's a look. Now keep your eye on Goldie. Inciarte sees Crawford. A little pump fake there, but Goldie does not stop the play. And by the time they tag Inciarte, the first tag applied, Goldie was past second base. Joe Panik. That's big time stuff right there. Panik rounded out his first time. 1 for 8 in the series now with a double and a walk. Roll to second, Owings.
A quick 1-2-3 would be really nice here in the third inning for the Diamondbacks and for Ruby De La Rosa after getting hit with that line drive earlier in the ball game. He appears to be okay. Don't see any lasting effects.
Diamondbacks will put the shift back on for Brandon Belt. Jake Lamb, the third baseman, will stand next to second base umpire Mark Carlson. And Owings is out in shallow right. Belt walked his first time. 1 hit in the series so far. He doubled yesterday. Brandon Belt got off to a slow start this year, a year in which big things are expected. I mean, they are really hoping he can progress into a next level power hitter in this lineup in his age 27 season. The power has been a little inconsistent so far. 1 and 2. Belt hit only .235 in April. Didn't hit his first home run this season until May 15th. And a big month of May, but a slumped here in June. Ruby ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. It's a little bit of a roller coaster here. Hit almost .340 in May with 7 homers. Called strike 3. Ruby De La Rosa rings up Belt, his second strikeout. Ruby's now retired 4 in a row. And through 3, Diamondbacks have a 1-0 lead. Brewers looking for their first series sweep here at AT&T Park since July of 2008. And Andy Green and Ender Inciarte still talking about that play that ended the Diamondback third. David Peralta leads off the fourth and looks at strike one.
No, that was a blast from the past between innings. That was Greg Minton, former closer for the Giants, the Moon Man. Made an appearance here in the booth, stopped by to say hello. I haven't seen him for years.
The old battery mate back together.
Talk about nasty sinkers. Woo. Greg, when he was coming up through the Giants system, he was a four-seam fastball, curveball pitcher.
Oh, baby.
He had a knee injury, had surgery, and when he came back from the knee surgery, because of the way he landed, something was just a little different, and all of a sudden, everything he threw was dropping a foot. Just a nasty, natural sinker that came via a knee surgery.
The pride of Lubbock, Texas. Went to high school here in the California area. Craig Minton, Carlsbad, California, and ended up with 150 career saves.
Makes his home in the Valley now. He and his wife are up here just enjoying a weekend in San Francisco and catching some D-backs games.
All strike three. Adam Amari strike zone getting a little bigger here as we move along. That's 3 strikeouts for Heston, 2 of them looking.
Well, it's getaway day for the players, getaway day for the umpires too. They got flights to catch.
Snuck back and caught the corner inside there, says Amari. So Peralta has struck out twice. Here's Chris Owings. Pitch that he rung up Belt on to end the third against De La Rosa did not appear to be a strike either. CO grounded out his first time, 0 for 1. And taking a big hack at that one. Swinging at the first pitch. A roller to Crawford at shortstop. Another ground ball out for Chris Heston. This was the Belt strikeout that ended the bottom of the third. Watch where this pitch is. Watch Wellington Castillo snap it back toward the zone. Heston been getting ahead in the count here. 10 and 14 first pitch strikes. Here's Lamb, who doubled and scored back in the second. Here's another one. 0 and 1.
Anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations. For the 6th time already in the ball game, Heston with an 0-2 count on a D-backs hitter.
One, 2 is fouled by the D-back dugout. Good to get Jake Lamb going here. 3 for 18 since he came off the DL. Missed 42 games with that left foot problem. Once he settles in, this is a big addition to the Diamondback lineup offensively, especially from the left-hand side. That injury was so frustrating because he played so well first 10 games. 2-2 pitch. And you know, Jake said he couldn't pinpoint anything he did to his left foot. It's not like he was hit by a pitch, didn't twist his ankle, didn't hurt his foot on a base, anything like that. Just fortunately they caught it before it became a stress fracture. And here he is, 3-2 pitch. Base hit. Jake Lamb 2 for 2, right back at you.
2 at bats, 2 well hit balls in this game by Jake Lamb. Is double down into the right field corner, and now this one whistles right back at Chris Heston on the mound. That one was up about belt high, didn't have the same kind of movement as that pitch does when it's down around the knees.
Jake has 2 of the 3 Diamondbacks hits so far. He's getting ahead in the count, but the Diamondbacks hitters are hanging in there. Here's Castillo, who reached on an error his first time up. Another strike one. 0-2 Heston on 6 Diamondback hitters. The only one that struck out was Ruby De La Rosa to open up the third. That's a major league hack right there. Beef. It's what's for dinner.
Heston takes a lot off of that slider, just kind of rolls it up there at 74 miles an hour. Got Castillo way out in front that time.
Another guy up there 0-2. So much movement on Heston's pitches. I'm amazed that a guy can throw a ball like that from the mound and have it dart and dive and drop and sink and all that stuff and throw it straight over to first base.
Maybe it isn't straight. We'd have to ask Brandon Belt about those pickoff attempts at first. I imagine he's thrown some sinkers over there.
Over the head of Crawford and into left. Castillo. Back-to-back 2-out singles for the Diamondbacks. Wellington Castillo settling in. He had 3 hits in the game here Friday.
Another meatball in a 2-strike count. Look at the location of this pitch. That's right in the middle of the plate, middle of the thighs, and Wellington doesn't miss it this time. Ringing line drive into left field.
And another Diamondback hitter who was down 0-2 in the count that Heston has not been able to put away. And it'll bring up Cliff Pennington, who hit into a double play his first time up. Lamb at second and Castillo at first. Cliff 1 for 5 on the road trip. Ball 1. Nick Ahmed a day off this afternoon. Yasmani Tomas, same for him. Tripale has Pennington starting at shortstop. Inciarte in right field. And suddenly Heston can't find the strike zone. He does have the pitcher on deck with 2 outs, but it's 3-0 to Pennington.
Yeah, it almost looks like a pitch around with the pitcher in the on deck circle. There is a base open. It happens to be third base if he would lose Pennington here and load him up.
Sure enough, he didn't get anything to hit there. A 4-pitch walk. And they'll work to De La Rosa with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Second walk issued by Chris Heston. Jake Lamb at third. The catcher Wellington Castillo at second. And Cliff Pennington at first. De La Rosa struck out his first time up. Ruby waves at strike 1.
1 for 26 on the season with 9 strikeouts.
Well, he's due.
He is way due.
Odds are in our favor here. Got that old Walt Reniak, Rich Gedman helicopter swing going there. Another 0-2 count for Chris Heston. That's the 8th in the ball game. 3 2/3. He's been 0-2 on 8 hitters. He strikes out De La Rosa. 4 strikeouts for Heston. He leaves them loaded. Diamondbacks lead it 1-0. World converge on the Pacific Northwest. Coverage of the 115th U.S. Open Championship live from Chambers Bay Golf Course begins at 9 in the morning on Fox Sports 1 and continues in prime time 5 o'clock Pacific on your local Fox station, and it's all streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Ruby De La Rosa has retired 7 of the last 8 Giants he has faced. He'll work to Brandon Crawford, Casey McGee, and Justin Maxwell 4, 5, and 6 in the Giant fourth. D-backs lead at 1-0. We got the only run of the game in the second inning as Brandon Crawford on one play committed 2 errors. Bobbled a grounder and then threw it away to lead to the Diamondbacks' only run. Something you don't often see from one of the best glove men in the business down there at short. Crawford earlier in his career was, of course, always a superb defender. He turned himself into that, but now he's got a consistent bat to go along with that. And it's got some genuine pop to it, leading the Giants in homers and RBIs. And his slugging percentage this year is about 100 points over his career high set last year. And here he is batting cleanup. Ruby now at 40 pitches, 22 for strikes. Base hit. Crawford 2 for 2. Leadoff man aboard in the Giant fourth.
You know, guys that find themselves hitting in the number 8 spot in the lineup a lot call it second division cleanup. And Brandon Crawford, to the early part of his career, batted 8th a lot, and now he finds himself, because of the way he's swinging the bat recently, hitting in the first division cleanup spot. Yeah, De La Rosa gets a sinker up there above the belt. Anytime you're facing a sinker ball pitcher, you always look for pitches up and be ready to hack at them.
Just his third plate appearance in the cleanup spot, Brandon Crawford. 2 for 2 so far, a pair of singles. Here's Casey McGee, who has been over the last couple of years a double play ball machine. And he hit into a 6-4-3 to end the first, his first time up. One more here. Lamb. Owens. Goalie, they roll it. Casey McGee strikes again.
Taylor made hard hit ground ball right to Jake Lamb at third. Chris Owens with a nice pivot at second base with Brandon Crawford bearing down on him. Easy double play ball.
So 2 down now for Justin Maxwell as Casey McGee struggles continue here in San Francisco. It has just not worked out at all after they acquired him from the Marlins in the offseason for a pair of minor leaguers. He has made 4 outs today, Casey McGee, on 3 pitches.
Oh, that's not easy to do.
Maxwell grounded out his first time. 0 for 3 with a strikeout Friday. He started in right field, did not play yesterday, Justin Maxwell. And De La Rosa's ahead 0-2. It's the second 0-2 count in the ball game for Ruby De La Rosa. Right to Lamb at third. And Ruby makes quick work of the Giants in the fourth despite the leadoff single. He's got a 1-0 lead.
with those two guys hitting first and second, all I got to do is roll over to short a couple times, usually get an RBI. Feels like they're always on base.
Oh, the ever so humble Paul Goldschmidt, the man with the 17 home runs and 14 doubles, talking about just need to roll over 6-3, get an RBI. But he was really pumping up his teammates. Ender Inciarte set to lead off here, and A.J. Pollock. A.J. with 76 hits on the season, and Inciarte with 71. Those are among the leaders in the National League, guys.
And here is Ender to lead off the fifth. He has tapped back to the mound and been hit by a pitch so far. Where were you? They were looking for you during the break.
Nature calls.
You went to get a cup of coffee. They had a great clip on the board. Did you see it?
I've seen it before. I hate the Dodgers thing.
Mike Krukow interviewing some of the Giant players in the clubhouse days gone by when he was pitching, and he interviewed you. And then they took a great shot of Kruk on the scoreboard here, and they kind of panned over to the booth, and I'm the only dope sitting here. This was on the board between innings. The old battery mates. And so the camera guy starts with that shot, then he pans over.
Nothing.
And there's an empty chair next to me. 2-2. He's hit for Inciarte. So Ender's got 7 hits now on the road trip. Leadoff man aboard in the fifth.
Was that another 0-2 count? Unbelievable.
It is amazing.
Yeah, take the first 2 strikes and then get ready to hit.
Here's A.J.'s grounded out twice. A.J. 3 hits in this series. 7 hits in 5 games on the road trip so far. Having a big time month of June. He's hit almost 370 this month with 3 home runs. See if we can get another 0-2 count here. That's usually worked out well for the Diamondbacks.
Well, I'll tell you, A.J. Pollock's made a lot of believers here in San Francisco this weekend as well. A lot of guys that have seen him over the years. Yeah, he's a nice player. But the way A.J. has played recently, and especially in this series, making some great running catches in this big outfield.
Well, he ran down a few in that ball game yesterday. I was sitting out there in right field in the stands, and it looked so much different from that angle, kind of in the right field corner, and you'd see the ball come flying off the bat. It's headed for Triple's alley, and A.J. just runs it down. Oh, 0-1. Sixth in the National League in hitting. 8 home runs already. Needs to be an all-star. Don't forget, D-backs fans, you can vote 35 times a day at MLB.com. You can vote on the Diamondback webpage. You can vote on your phone. And it's 1-2. All-star game coming up next month, only on Fox from Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. And for Pollock, as we've talked about, that definitive turning point in his season, now that you look back on it almost over the last month, was clearly May 19th. That pinch hit home run at Miami. He'd been 0 for 6 the previous night. Came up 2-2 game in the 8th inning, pinch hitting a 2-run homer. Diamondbacks won the game 4-2, and since that day, he's hit about 390. Strikes out there. 5 strikeouts for Heston, 1 down in the 5th.
Flat slider. Just a little bit of downward movement as it got into the hitting zone, but started it right over the middle, sweeps it off the plate low and away.
One out for Goldie, who has walked and singled. He's also stolen a base. Leading the major leagues in hitting, coming in at 355. He's now up to 357. Ball one. And has, how about this, 10 hits and 20 at bats on this road trip. He's hit safely in 5 straight. 5 hits and 2 walks in this series alone. The 1-0. Down, no balls and 2 strikes in his first 2 at bats today. He's ahead 2-0 here. Make it 3-0.
Well, that's a really good take. I mean, we know Goldie has a great eye for the strike zone, but that sinking, tailing fastball looked like it was going to be a strike and then just drops out below the strike zone. Goldie didn't even sniff at it.
Boy, that's a good pitch, too. 5th 3-ball count for Chris Heston. Peralta will be next. He struck out twice. A 4-pitch walk. So Goldie's been aboard all 3 times he's been up, and the Diamondbacks have 2 on with 1 out for David Peralta. Here comes Dave Righetti. Heston has walked 3, Goldie twice.
Yeah, while Dave Righetti makes a trip to the mound, let's take a look at our Geico. This day in Major League Baseball history, June 14th, 1974, Nolan Ryan throws 235 pitches.
Stop it.
Struck out 19 Red Sox, walked 10 more in 13 innings. The first of 3 19 strikeout outings that Nolan Ryan will have in that season. He had 26 complete games that year.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
235 pitches. Can you imagine?
I mean, nothing's changed, I assume, in human physiology between now and then, right? So, I know everybody's physiology is different. Nolan Ryan was clearly special, but, you know, like you said, 20, 30 complete games a year, kind of par for the course now.
Give him the ball and get out of the way.
You know, you throw 2 in a season and you're doing great.
Lead the league.
Here's Peralta. Heston having problems now throwing strikes. That's 5 straight balls.
Yeah, I think the attitude back then a lot of times was, and they didn't have specialized bullpens back then when you had matchup lefties and matchup righties and a ground ball pitcher and a strikeout pitcher. You handed the ball to your starting pitcher and he was probably the guy you wanted out there even at 235 pitches. Take a look at the bullpen. Is there anybody down there you'd rather have pitching than Nolan Ryan? Keep throwing, big boy.
On and 0.
We feature Goldie so much, not only as a hitter, as a defender, but especially as a base runner. He does his homework. He a little word of encouragement from Dave McKay. He looks around to see, has anybody moved their position? Where's Brandon Crawford playing at short? Where's the center fielder shading? How far behind me is that first baseman? How much of a lead can I get here? There's a reason he's always the guy to take the extra 90 feet or 180 feet in some cases. He's prepared.
Chris Heston had been on that run of 0-2 counts. Now it's been 2-0, 3-0. He just walked Goldie on 4 pitches. And he's behind on Peralta, 3 balls and no strikes. Base hit. Ender Inciarte will stop at third this time, and the Diamondbacks have the bases loaded with 1 out.
And that'll get some activity going in that Giants bullpen. David Peralta, they turn him loose here. He gets a sinker that's a little bit up and out over the plate, stays right on it. Unfortunately, hit it so hard, Ender could not score from second base. That ball got to Aoki quickly.
George Contos is going to start throwing in the Giant bullpen. Bases loaded and one out for Chris Owings. CO 0 for 2. He is twice grounded out to shortstop. Swinging at the first pitch, as he so often does. 0-1. Fly ball center field. It backs up. Maxwell still backing up, and he can't get it. Inciarte will score. Goldie right behind. Peralta will stop at third, and the Diamondbacks take a 3-0 lead. Justin Maxwell, his first start this season in center field for the Giants, and that one just carried right over his head.
Another pitch right in the middle of the plate this time, ahead in the count. Heston makes a bad mistake to Chris Owings. Bangs that one off the base of the fence out there in straightaway center field. Maxwell looking back over his shoulder into the afternoon sun. He had no chance to catch that ball.
And with 2 on, still only 1 out and first base open, they will walk the left-hander Lamb and work to Wellington Castillo.
Jake Lamb with 2 hard hit balls already in this game. Doubled and scored back in the second, singled in the fourth. Going to take the bat right out of his hands and go after Wellington Castillo. Hit the mistakes. Chris Owings behind in the count, and Heston threw him a meatball right down the middle of the plate. Take advantage of pitchers' mistakes.
Boy, good job by Chris there to drive that one to deep center field. His last 21 games, Chris had only 1 extra base hit. So that's just his second extra base hit in a span of 83 at bats. And now it's beef. Wellington Castillo singled his last time up. Bases loaded again with 1 out. 3-0 Diamondbacks, and a chance to break this game wide open right here. Ball 1. Castillo 3 hits Friday. He had yesterday off. Pitch count is skyrocketing here for Heston, who's working to his 7th batter in this inning.
One more big knock, put him out of his misery, get into that Giants bullpen.
1-1. How about this? Right now, Chris Heston at 97 pitches. Ruby De La Rosa has thrown 45. Less than half. Two balls and a strike. Did he go? Yes, he did. Mike DeMiro down at first. 2-2.
Back-to-back slow breaking balls from Heston. Well, he was able to hold up on the first one. Pretty close that time.
Just want to avoid the double play ball here, if nothing else. 6 strikeouts for Heston. Here's Cliff Pennington. David Peralta is the runner at third. Chris Owings aboard at second. And Jake Lamb at first. 2 down for Pennington, who has hit into a double play and walked. And is 5 for his last 44 at the plate. Ball 1.
See, that's the pitch that Heston wants hitters to swing at. That one, it starts right in the middle of the plate, looks like a strike one. You don't want to fall behind in the count, so you swing at it and end up hitting the ball on the ground weakly somewhere. Diamondbacks have done a nice job of laying off of that pitch and getting the count in their favor. Now, when this ball leaves his hand, it looks like a middle of the plate strike. And then it just drops off. And if you swing at that ball, you're either going to swing and miss, foul it off, or put it in play weakly on the ground. Good take.
Make that movement work for you if you're the Diamondback hitter for a change. 100 pitches for Heston. Only 59 for strikes. He has walked 4, 1 intentionally. Bases full, 2 outs, 1-0 to Pennington.
Location, same kind of a pitch, sinking fastball, looks like a strike, drops below the zone. Another good take by Penny. See one up right here and hit it hard.
2-0 pitch. A little bloop along the line, but there is Aoki. And the Diamondbacks leave him loaded, but they get 2. Chris Owings with the bases full, a deep shot to center field. Drives in 2, and the Diamondbacks lead it 3-0. Ruby De La Rosa so far through 4 innings here today. Look at these numbers, Bob, from Diamondback starting pitchers in this series.
It's been really good. Obviously, Chase Anderson carrying a no-hitter through 5 in game 1. Alan Webster doing the same thing yesterday. And Ruby De La Rosa, after a little bit of a rocky start in that first inning, has really settled in. Diamondbacks rotation right now made up of 4 guys that were acquired via a trade in this past offseason, including Alan Webster. Chase Anderson, the only homegrown product in the rotation right now.
Well, Ruby is out there to start the Giant 5th against the lower third of the order. Jared Parker, the right fielder, leads it off. It's going to be hard for anybody today to top Max Scherzer's effort for the Nationals at Miller Park in Milwaukee. Scherzer went all the way, a 1-hit shutout. He struck out 16 Brewers. And Jared Parker has his first major league hit. Just called up from Sacramento last week, 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts in his big league debut yesterday. And he's on the board with a single, a lead off the fifth, his first hit in the big leagues. George Contos back out to begin throwing once again in the Giant bullpen. You've got Susac, the catcher, and then Heston, the pitcher, behind him. And it looks like Matt Duffy is in the on-deck circle. Susac knocks that into right, a base hit. Parker got a bit of a slow start. Ender thought he might have had a play at second, but the first two Giants have reached against De La Rosa in the fifth. And Duffy will hit for Heston.
Yeah, Giants have had some success today against De La Rosa when attacking early pitches in and at bat. 4 for 8 in the ball game when they've hit the first or second pitch.
Conference time at the mound with Mike Harkey. Diamondbacks had a great opportunity to break the game open in the top half of this inning. And the bases loaded with one out, but Castillo struck out. Pennington flied out, and they left him loaded. And the Giants threatening here to open up the home half. Fans, today after our ball game, it's the 10th inning here on Fox Sports Arizona. The local 9. You'll hear from D-backs players about their favorite local hotspots and what they do when they're not playing baseball. The 10th inning presented by CenturyLink, the local 9, today right after our ball game, and again tonight at 10 on Fox Sports Arizona. So the Giants threatening here. Jared Parker at second, Andrew Susac at first, nobody out. And here's Matt Duffy to hit for Heston, 280 on the year and 5 homers. Duffy has been hit more times in this series than he has hits. Plunked twice by Chase Anderson Friday, 1 for 5 in the series so far. Big cut at that one, strike one.
Breaking balls to start the sequence here to Duffy. Yeah, if a team is attacking you early in the count, you can either throw a fastball somewhere they can't hit it, hope they chase a bad pitch, or throw something other than a fastball for a strike.
One and two.
Not a great location for that changeup, but a real good result. Took a lot off that one at 81 miles per hour. Duffy geared up for fastball. Just flails that.
Got that up, but at least it was off the plate a bit. He's got to be careful about the home run ball. 50 pitches, 31 for strikes. Now, home runs have been a problem for De La Rosa lately. He's given up 14 homers in 12 starts this year. Pops it up. It's carrying out to left, but Peralta has room. And the runner will tag Parker, head second to third. Susac stays put, and that's the first out here in the Giant fifth. Got under it just enough. And that's what scares you about Ruby from time to time in these spots. Only 3 pitchers in baseball have allowed more homers this year than Ruby De La Rosa. So it's Parker at third, Susac at first, 1 out, and Norioki steps in. He singled to lead off the ball game, 1 for 2. 5th in the league in hitting coming into the ball game at 326. He's now up to 328 on the year.
It's kind of a pick your poison situation with this Giants offense. They've got 6 players, including Norioki, hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position. Joe Panik just off the mark at 296.
0-1. Aoki, despite ranking 5th in the league in hitting and 3rd in hits, has not hit very well in this ballpark in his first year with the Giants. Under 250 at home this year, but nearly 420 on the road. He's got just 1 hit in the series. 1 for 9. Double play ball here. Owings, Pennington. And they roll a double play. Another one behind Ruby De La Rosa as they get the speedy Aoki up the first base line. And there will be no challenge from the Giant dugout. That's the 3rd double play turn behind Ruby De La Rosa, who keeps it a 3-0 ball game.
Take on the San Diego Padres on June 21st at 1:10. The first 10,000 dads will get a D-backs dad t-shirt courtesy of Audi. Get your Father's Day tickets now at dbacks.com.
Had a lot of Diamondback fans here on this trip joining us this weekend in San Francisco. A lot of the sponsors and a lot of D-back t-shirts and hats all over the ballpark here. As we start the 6th inning from AT&T Park, where the Diamondbacks are looking for a sweep. They've not swept a series here since July of 2008. And the new pitcher for San Francisco, his 31st appearance, having a terrific year, is the right-hander George Cantos, a 1.64 ERA. He has tossed 10 scoreless innings in his last 10 outings.
Pitched a 1-2-3 ninth in the ball game yesterday, a 4-2 Diamondbacks victory.
Ruby De La Rosa, who has struck out twice, leads off the 6th. Ruby has been terrific so far. Very efficient out there. A lot of ground balls. He's walked 2. He struck out 2. He's had 3 double plays turned behind him. Just what the Diamondbacks are looking for from all their starters. This has been a terrific series for the Diamondback rotation. Chase Anderson Friday. Alan Webster in his D-backs debut yesterday. And Ruby De La Rosa here this afternoon. Maybe just 54 pitches so far through 5 innings. 1-2 pitch. Got him. Hasn't been much of a hitter up there today, but boy, he's been terrific on the mound. A 7-pitch 4th and a 9-pitch 5th. Here's Ender Inciarte.
You know, back in the day, partner, we'd have advanced meetings just like they do nowadays. You talk about the opposing pitchers and the opposing hitters and maybe some things they might do unusually. And we used to actually talk about guys on the other team, not necessarily in the meeting, but guys to watch out for in case a brawl breaks out. Guys that knew how to handle themselves when the fists started to fly.
You expecting trouble here?
Well, I don't want to mess with George Contos if it does start. Let's put it that way. He's a mixed martial artist. He does that Muay Thai stuff in the off season. So if something would happen to break out, just watch out for number 70.
Muay Thai, is that a thing?
I think it's a thing. Yeah.
It is now.
Muay Thai, I'm told. I mean, back in the day, Ray Knight, third baseman for the Mets and for the Reds, he was a Gold Gloves boxer when he was a teenager.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he knew how to throw some fists. Sarge, Gary Matthews was a guy that we used to say, watch out for Sarge if anything happens. John Denny, the former pitcher for the Phillies, and used to be a rehab coordinator for the Diamondbacks down in Tucson.
Justin Maxwell dropped the ball. It drifted into the gap in left center field, and Inciarte hustles into second. We mentioned earlier that this is Justin Maxwell's first start in center field this year. He has played over 100 games in center in the big leagues. He played a handful last year with the Kansas City Royals. But this is his first start in center for the Giants, and it's not been a good one.
Yeah, I think he had some issues with the sun on that ball and maybe the wind as well. He got his glove up there. That ball needs to be caught right there, Justin. But good hustle by Ender Inciarte. Didn't assume anything. Ends up on second base with one out in the inning.
E8. So a gift right there for the Diamondbacks, who have Inciarte at second. Only one out for A.J. Pollock and Goldie behind him. A.J. so far 0 for 3. He has grounded out twice and struck out. Maxwell's first start in center. His ability to play center field makes him an attractive guy to have on your roster because he's got some pop in that bat. And usually he doesn't profile just as a corner outfielder. Most guys who hit like him do. He can play some center. Over 100 big league starts in center field, but it's not going well today. Javier Lopez, the left-hander, getting up with Peralta coming up behind Goldschmidt. And so Bruce Bochy preparing in case the D-backs are able to take advantage of that Maxwell error and put together a big inning.
I think Bruce Bochy realizes his offense has been misfiring in this series, and he figures they cannot afford to give up any more runs, so he's going to try to play matchups from this point forward to keep the Diamondbacks off the board and hold them to 3.
1-0. Tap foul right to Andy Green. Yeah, the Giants offense is really scuffled. They've lost 7 straight here at AT&T Park. And during the 7-game home losing streak, they've been outscored 36-16, and they're down 3-0 here.
Just in this 3-game series, they've only scored 2 runs in 1 inning. They just haven't really threatened much.
Of course, they are without Hunter Pence. He's got a wrist injury. He's on the DL. Gregor Blanco is on the 7-day concussion DL. Posey's got the day off today. As does Pagan. 1-1 to Pollock. Here goes Inciarte. No throw from Susac, and Ender is in there at third, his 9th stolen base.
Ender got an okay jump out there at second base, but once again Susac just looked like he couldn't make the exchange cleanly from glove into throwing hand, so he just hung onto the ball back there behind home plate, allowing Ender to advance to third. That'll force the Giants to bring their infield in for A.J. Pollock.
Well, they got a gift on the Inciarte. Easy fly to left center field. See if they can take advantage. 1-2 on A.J. Goldie would be next. It's in the dirt. 2-2. Last time the Diamondbacks swept a series in this ballpark, July of 2008. They won 3 of 4 from the defending champs here in April. And a chance to get the 3-game sweep here today. Chip Hale's club winners of 6 of 9 against the Giants this year overall. Inciarte at third, 1 out, 2 balls and 2 strikes to A.J. Pollock. This has been a strange pattern we've had all year, Bob. We go to one place, we get swept, then we go to the next place and we sweep.
Tough to figure.
We're swept in 3 games at Dodger Stadium. They're looking for the 3-game sweep here against the team that's right behind LA. In the standings, only 2.5 off the NL West lead. Diamondbacks are 6.5 games behind LA. If they can hang on and win this one, that climb up Mount 500 will take another step closer. We've been climbing that mountain all year. A win here would put the Diamondbacks at 30-32, only 2 games under 500.
Dodgers trail the Padres 2-0 today in it's the top half of the 5th inning. Big game James pitching for the Padres.
AJ gets it up in the air, left center field. Maxwell calling for it. Inciarte's at second, and here he comes. And he will score easily. 4-0 Diamondbacks. An RBI for Pollock. That is an absolute gift run right there.
Good at bat by A.J. Pollock. Fouled off some tough pitches. Eventually got one he could lift in the air to center field, allowing Ender to score easily from third base.
That stolen base really made a difference. Base is empty. 2 down now for Goldie, who has walked twice and singled.
Yeah, just the fact that Ender hustled out that error to Maxwell in center field, ended up at second base and quickly stole third with only 1 out in the inning, and he's able to score on a sac fly.
Diamondbacks road trip continues after this one. They are off to Anaheim.
Wait, weren't we just there?
We were just in LA, yeah. Different hotel. 2 games against the Angels at the Big A, and then 2 against the Angels at Chase Field, a 4-game home and home.
Tough sun.
Behind second base, Panic fighting that sun, and he's got it. But the Diamondbacks get a run. Bottom 6 coming up. They lead the Giants 4-0.
Mine, growing up as a kid, I wouldn't ever imagine me being in a position that I could make an all-star game, but it'd be really neat. It's kind of weird because, it's hard thinking about that stuff. You really just want to concentrate on going out and doing your best and trying to help your team win, but it would be pretty neat.
Well, A.J. Pollock, of course, last year he seemed to be on the road to Minneapolis for that All-Star game, but unfortunately the injury sidelined A.J. and the hot start that he got off to. But again, coming into today's game, batting .325, 8 home runs, the solid play that we see in the defense at center field, and 14 stolen bases, certainly making his case for vote Pollock.
Here's a guy that made some headlines last year in the postseason, Joe Panic. He looks at strike one. He's 0 for 2. He's twice grounded out to second base. Ruby De La Rosa, unbelievably efficient out there. Now at 55 pitches, but he has not thrown more than 5 pitches to one giant hitter so far as Panic lines out to Pennington. And the pitch count for Ruby by inning keeps dropping as we move along here. Look at this, 14, 13, 11, 7 and 9. I mean, 16 pitches in his previous 2 innings.
How about that?
He's got 3 double play balls behind him. He has walked 2 and struck out 2.
He's actually gotten better since he got hit by that line drive.
You're absolutely right. Brandon Belts. A dribbler foul right by first base coach Bill Hayes.
You know, fans may get tired of us talking about it, but it's the exception to the rule in Major League Baseball. This is a pop-up to second base. Paul Goldschmidt just puts his head down and runs as hard as he can. Had that ball been dropped, and I mentioned a tough sun today, he would have been standing on second base. Now that should be the rule rather than the exception. We know that we see a lot of ball players, even on base hits, that don't run the bases that hard. Goldie was sprinting to second base on a pop-up.
Worked off Surrender and Ciarte and turned into a Diamondback run in the top of this inning. And for Goldie, as you mentioned, that's just par for the course. SOP.
It's just such a simple thing to do. I mean, you may not be the fastest guy, you may not have the best arm, you may not hit for power or average, but everybody can hustle. That doesn't take anything other than effort.
Hop up along the left field line, fighting that son is Peralta, who's got it just in fair territory, and they retire Belt. And the shift on that time, and Cliff Pennington was running a long way over toward the Giant bullpen, but Peralta came in from his spot. And here's Crawford, who's 2 for 2 with a pair of singles.
Just a footnote on that A.J. Pollock All-Star Game conversation. Among Major League Baseball center fielders, he's 1st in average, 4th in on-base percentage, 4th in slugging percentage, and 4th in OPS. Ahead of a lot of very big names in this game.
If you go by wins above replacement, it's pretty much Mike Trout and A.J. Pollock in the majors, and that's it. It starts there. And that is a performance that needs to be represented in Cincinnati next month, only on Fox. Crawford had been 0 for 7 in the series, but he's 2 for 2 today. Ruby's got one of those games. This looks like the Ruby we saw in Miami when he went the distance in a no decision. Buster Posey the day off, Hunter Pence on the DL.
Anytime you can play the Giants and have those two guys sitting where they are right now, you got to like your chances to win a ball game.
You can see the wrap on Hunter Pence's wrist there. That left hand that he hurt in spring training when he's hit by a pitch. Suffered another injury diving for a fly ball last week. A 1-2-3-6 for Ruby De La Rosa. Here's what's next, brought to you by CenturyLink. Chris Owens, who had a 2-run double his last at bat. We'll see him in the 7th. It's 4-0 Diamondbacks. Back. Megan Rapinoe and the U.S. women's national team continue their quest for a third World Cup title as they finish group stage play against Nigeria. Coverage begins at 4 on your local Fox station. Catch the whole tournament streaming live on Fox Sports Go. New pitcher for the Giants as we start the 7th here in San Francisco. The left-hander Javier Lopez. There is no other action in the Giant bullpen. Lopez is kind of a one batter, two batter type guy, only 15 2/3 innings over his last 29 appearances. But he's out there to face Peralta, who lines one to right center field, but Maxwell runs it down. The numbers on Javier Lopez.
Sparkling ERA 1.15. You see 29 games, only 15 2/3 innings pitched. But as you mentioned, with nobody warming up behind him today in that Giants bullpen, it looks like they're going to try to get at least a full inning, maybe more out of Lopez today.
And they got another left-hand hitter in Jake Lamb on deck. And here's Chris Owings, who had the 2-run double to deep center field his last time up. CO 1 for 3. We talked a lot about this Giant team. Obviously, we see him a ton. This run of World Series championships, 3 in 5 years. It gets so caught up in Buster Posey and Brandon Belt and, you know, Lincecum and Kane and all those guys. But the bullpen, Bob, it seems to me, has been in some ways the backbone of what they've been able to do here, because it's been the same really group of guys. You've got Lopez and Romo, Affel, Casilla. That group has been there through this whole run. Something that gets overlooked a lot.
Yeah, and the way Bruce Bochy uses that bullpen. And a lot of times we grouse because it makes the game a little bit longer when he starts playing matchups from the 7th inning on in a close ball game. But he really knows how to use those relievers. He knows their strengths and weaknesses, who they match up well against, and he's not afraid to go to them.
Bullpens are so critical in postseason. Oftentimes they will win or lose you games in series, but this group has stayed together the entire time. And as a result, they've got a lot of jewelry around here. The rings get bigger every year.
Yeah, they do.
1-2. 2010, 2012, last year as well. And last year's proof. I mean, with 2 wild cards now, you're in it. Giants last year finished the season with 88 wins. They won that final NL wild card spot and won the World Series. So if you can get to somewhere between, I don't know, 86 to 89 wins, you got a shot. But right now they're focused on what's about to become an 8-game losing streak here at home if the Diamondbacks hang on. Lopez loses Owings. And there's a 1-out walk. Here comes Jake Lamb.
Diamondbacks hoping to fall into an 0-2 count, because today they've had 4 hits, 2 walks, a hit by pitch, a reached on air, only 2 strikeouts, both by the pitcher, Ruby De La Rosa, in an 0-2 count.
What do you make of that?
I don't know if I can make anything out of that.
Yeah, it's so bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if a pitcher's ahead of a hitter 0-2, you are in the worst kind of defensive mode up there as a hitter. Take another strike.
Yeah. Missed, and it's 1-1. Jake's had a good day, doubled and scored in the 2nd. Singled in the 4th. He was given a free pass his last time up. And so he's reached base safely in all 3 plate appearances. Up there with a 1-1 count, 1 out, Owings at first.
Lopez, a tough customer for a left-handed hitter. That low 3/4 arm delivery really kind of slings it up there. That breaking ball starts almost behind the left-handed hitters.
Catcher's interference. They're going to call him out. Oh no, first I can send him back to second.
No, CO is able to advance on the pass ball or wild pitch, whatever they call it there, but because first base was occupied, Jake's not allowed to advance on strike 3.
So Owings at second, 2 down now for Castillo. Wellington reached on an error in the second, singled in the fourth. So that's a strikeout and a wild pitch if you're scoring. So the wild pitch moves Owings to second, and it's 0-1 on Castillo. Well, 0-2, we got him right where we want him.
Some of the guys on the team that have longer beards than Wellington Castillo would get in trouble if they started blowing bubbles up there in the batter's box.
Could get ugly.
Yeah.
1-2. Right to Belt at first. And that's the end of the inning. We stretch here in San Francisco. D-backs going for the sweep. They lead it 4-0. Arizona is brought to you in part by Oregano's, your neighborhood pizza joint. By Goodwill, where your good deeds are working. By Card Power from Arizona Federal Credit Union. Now that's the power of us. And by Yancey's Fancy, New York's finest artisan cheese. San Francisco, our Gila River game summary. Diamondbacks going for the 3-game sweep here at AT&T Park, and they lead the Giants 4-0. Ruby De La Rosa has been just terrific. 6 scoreless so far. He's given up just 5 hits, all singles. And he's got 3 double play balls behind him. He has walked 2 and struck out 3, retired the last 5 he's faced.
That's the first double play that Noriaoki has grounded into all season long. Had to really be quick out there at second base. And for Ruby, he just seems to have found his command after a rocky first inning when it looked like the Giants were going to make some noise against him. He has really settled in.
Yeah, Ruby in that first inning gave up 2 singles and a walk, but got Casey McGee to hit into a double play ball, as Casey McGee so often does. And ever since then, he's been rolling along 4 1-2-3 innings for Ruby De La Rosa. And it's McGee who leads it off as we start the home half of the 7th. Acquired by the Giants in December for 2 minor leaguers. He was the National League Comeback Player of the Year last year in Miami. But he's back on the interstate here in San Francisco. Brought in to take over at third base for Pablo Sandoval, and was designated for assignment last month, went down to the minor leagues, but now he's back. Just rejoined the Giants on June 5th, and today McGee, who was 0 for 2, has grounded into 2 double plays. Makes his first start at third base since May 23rd.
Good news is Casey McGee cannot ground into a double play in this at bat.
Led the Planet last year in grounding into double plays, and is on a similar pace this year. It's just been a problem for him. This is a guy that last year was hitting .320 at the All-Star break in Miami. And of course, the Panda is struggling big time in Boston, so it's not a case of what might have been here. They just have a hole at third that Matt Duffy has done a good job filling. They're just not quite ready yet to give up on McGee. Here's a little bloop out to right, and it drops in for a base hit.
Couldn't have thrown it out there any better than that. Ender was playing shallow in right field. Looked like he might have had a chance to get to it. CO and his speed streaking out into shallow right field. Neither guy could get there in time.
Justin Maxwell.
47 strikes in this game for Ruby De La Rosa. Only 12 called strikes. I guess that means he's been around the plate with some movement, gotten a lot of swinging strikes, but the Giants have taken only 12 pitches in the strike zone.
McGee, who leads the league with 14 double play balls, on first. See if Ruby can roll another one here. He's got 3 today so far. Maxwell 0 for 3 with a strikeout Friday. Started in right field. Did not play yesterday. He's out there in center today. He's 0 for 2 and has had a rough day in the field. The ball go over his head for a 2-run double by Chris Owings. It was well hit. Would have been a tough play. And dropped an easy fly ball by Inciarte that led to a Diamondback run in the 6th. Tough day at the office. One and two. Maxwell had a good spring with the Giants at about .350 in the Cactus League. Couple of home runs, and thought they might need some right hand pop, so here he is. 2 and 2. Of course, they lost Michael Morse to free agency. Hunter Pence has been hurt most of the year. And so Maxwell has played from time to time. He's got 5 homers.
I know at some point Angel Pagan will go on the disabled list. That's just what he does.
Double play ball here, sure enough. Pennington, Owings, and Goldie, they roll it. That's 4 double play balls behind Ruby De La Rosa today. Poor Casey McGee, even when he gets a hit, he can't escape the double play.
job by Penny. The shovel toss on to Chris Owings, who turns it quickly once again. Maxwell runs really good. They got him easily at first base.
So 2 down. The base is empty for the rookie Jared Parker, who singled his last time up, his first major league hit. Ruby trying to get through 7 innings here in under 80 pitches. 1-1. He's been 0-2 on Giants hitters 6 times today. And those hitters have gone 1 for 6. 2 balls and a strike. Mike Harkey has got to like what he's seen from his rotation in this series. Chase Anderson, Alan Webster yesterday, and Ruby today. They've been outstanding.
And you wonder how much of that could possibly be the ballpark factor. I mean, it's widely known that this is a great place to pitch, especially those night games when you get that heavy marine layer hanging here over the stadium. The ball doesn't carry well. Slow infield grass. Everything you need to pitch a good ball game is right here in this park. There's a short porch right down that right field line, but the prevailing winds usually blow from right to left and knock down fly balls hitting that direction.
And it's blowing out hard to right field right now, right center. Well, he's gone full on Parker, 3-2. Susak, the catcher's on deck. Ruby looking for his first win since May the 12th. 3-2 pitch. Got him. 4 strikeouts for Ruby De La Rosa. He is through 7 with a 4-0 lead in San Francisco. Cox, Hick Alive, high-speed highlights. Ruby De La Rosa, that strikeout of Jared Parker to win the 7th was his 75th this year. That's a new career high in one season for Ruby De La Rosa, who struck out 74 last year with the Red Sox as Cliff Pennington leads off the 8th inning. But what's interesting about that for Ruby, last year he threw 101 2/3 innings in Boston. Count those 74 strikeouts. This year as a Diamondback, he's got 75 strikeouts in only 81 innings. And the strikeout pitch has worked. And the double play balls have helped too. 2-0 on Pennington. Ruby has rolled today 4 double play balls. He threw 4 in his first 12 starts all year. That's efficiency.
It's a positive reinforcement for sticking with the game plan.
Exactly. He ended the 6th and 7th with strikeouts. But 4 double play balls, only 2 walks. And Ruby is on deck. He will hit here in the 8th.
Why not?
You betcha. Working right now on a 6-hit shutout. It's a tapper to third. Here comes McGee. Safe. Pennington beats it out. Mike DeMuro, the first base umpire, did not signal that Belt came off the bag there. Looks like Penny just beat it. It was hit slowly to third.
Yeah, McGee didn't get much on that throw. Might not have had a real good grip on it. You see the tail end of the play here.
Bruce Bochy is going to challenge.
Yeah, if he didn't pull his foot off the bag, it looked like they just did get Penny down there at first base.
And the headsets are going on.
Which is hopefully Cliff can reach here, because that would be good news for Ruby De La Rosa, who would then probably be asked to sacrifice bunt. Hasn't had a whole lot of luck going up there swinging it today. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
Another replay review brought to you by Mix One, as the Giants challenged the out call at first. So you've got the first base umpire Mike DeMuro, the crew chief at third, Brian Gorman on the headsets talking to New York. We might have a case here.
Yeah, Belt did come off, but it was after he had the ball in his glove, and it appeared that the ball hit the back of his glove before Penny hit the base. We'll look from a different angle here. Very close, but I don't think they got it.
Giants bullpen will get busy again while we wait. Michael Broadway, the right-hander, who looked so good yesterday and started throwing for San Francisco. And that looks like clear and convincing evidence that the call was incorrect. Which is what you need to overturn a call these days. Ruby in that last inning threw 16 pitches, his most of any inning so far in the ballgame. And the call is overturned. Pennington is out at first. So 5-3 on the putout, 1 away for De La Rosa. The updated numbers. Another replay review brought to you by Mix One. 10 calls overturned in D-backs games so far this year. And as Bob mentioned, Ruby has not been a hitter today. 0 for 3 with 3 punch-outs. Two.
He's our power player of the game, brought to you by Arizona Federal. Not for what he's done at the plate, for what he's done on the mound today. He's been outstanding.
Ruby De La Rosa. Another look at the numbers. Our Arizona Federal Credit Union power player of the game. 7 scoreless, 6 hits. He has walked 2 and struck out 4.
Contact.
And if Ruby can punch out here, he'll match his own strikeout total. It's been that kind of day.
That's all right. My partner in the booth next door, Mike Kruko, used to always say his goal as a starting pitcher was to go 0 for 5 at the plate.
Game high.
That meant the team had scored a bunch of runs if he got 5 at bats. And if he got 5 at bats, he had pitched deep into the ball game.
Second strikeout for Javier Lopez, and now he'll face a left-hand hitter, Ender Inciarte, with 2 down in the 8th. Ender has had an interesting day. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd, singled and scored in the 5th, reached on a drop fly ball by the center fielder Justin Maxwell, stole third and scored on a Pollock sac fly. And Swender has scored 2 of the 4 Diamondback runs from the leadoff spot, which is just what you're looking for. 0-1. Swender now 7 hits on the road trip. He scored 4 times. Got almost a full day off yesterday. Came into the ball game late as a defensive replacement. This is popped up foul ground. Third base side. McGee is there. And Lopez works a 1-2-3 inning. Bottom 8th coming up. Diamondbacks lead it 4-0. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball is presented by Sanderson Ford. The front office here, sitting by the dock of the bay, looking for a sweep of the Giants. FoxSportsArizona.com. All your online local sports coverage you won't find anywhere else. You'll get post-game analysis and reaction from the Diamondbacks clubhouse. Watch all 17 home runs hit by Goldie this year, and the latest on the Coyotes arena situation. All that and more. FoxSportsArizona.com. Tony La Russa, Dave Stewart in the house. Andrew Susac leads off the 8th and launches one foul down the left field line. Ruby De La Rosa working on a 6-hit shutout.
With Tony La Russa in the house today, Bruce Bochy managing the Giants. You've got 2 of the 4 managers in baseball history that have won 700 games with 2 different teams.
How about that? 89 World Series. Ruby De La Rosa has never thrown either a complete game or a shutout in the major leagues, making his 41st career start. Oh, and 2 on Andrew Susac. Look out. Just in front of our broadcast position here.
Bruce Bochy won at least 700 games with the Padres and the Giants. Tony La Russa with the A's and the Cardinals. Jim Leyland with the Pirates and the Tigers. And Sparky Anderson with the Reds and the Tigers.
Pitcher spot is due up next for Bruce Bochy, and Joaquin Arias is in the on-deck circle.
There's a list.
That is an elite group, to be sure. Diamondbacks on an airplane after this ball game. We head back to L.A. We were just there to play the Dodgers. Now we go to Anaheim for 2 against the Angels. It's called strike 3. Rings up Susac. 5 strikeouts for Ruby. One down in the 8th. Speaking of the road trip, we take a look at the rest of it. Let's Go Places brought to you by your Valley Toyota dealers. 2 games in Anaheim, and then the Angels come to Chase Field for 2 games, Wednesday and Thursday. Tomorrow night, this is a great pitching matchup in this first half of the series, the home and home. Robbie Ray and Jared Weaver tomorrow, Jeremy Hellickson and Garrett Richards on Tuesday. Here's Arias at 171 on the year. There's a strike on 1.
And Chip Hale will have to, I'm sure he's already given serious consideration to who his designated hitter is going to be in Anaheim. A different look to the lineup.
Think about that stuff as we start the interleague intrigue. Arias 1 for 12 as a pinch hitter this year. He's got just 1 extra base hit all season. Yeah, with the trade of Mark Trumbo, the choice for DH a little more difficult right now. Not as clear cut. Well, you do find a way to get the 3 outfielders currently in the ball game. Peralta, Pollock, and Inciarte in there along with Tomas if you want to go that way. And Ruby De La Rosa has now struck out the last 3 Giants he's faced. That's 6 in the ball game. Makes quick work of Arias there.
He just rears back and throws a 95-mile-an-hour 4-seam fastball right by Arias, coming off the bench cold, and it looked like it.
Ruby jumping ahead in the count all day long. 20 of 27 first pitch strikes, including strike 1 to 11 of the last 12 Giants he's faced.
Beautiful.
And with 2 outs of work to Nori Aoki, who's 1 for 3, a single to lead off the ball game. The first pitch he saw from Ruby De La Rosa. There's Goldie down the line. Ruby covers, and it's a quick 1-2-3. 8th inning. Ruby De La Rosa 3 outs away from a 6-hit shutout. Diamondbacks lead it 4-0. Against the Padres, June 19th through the 21st. Next Saturday, the 20th, you can pick up your D-backs backpack, courtesy of Gila River Casinos. Get your tickets right now at dbacks.com. Ruby De La Rosa, he's rolling along here. 91 pitches through 8 scoreless innings. He has never thrown a complete game or a shutout in the major leagues, but he's 3 outs away from both. Pitcher for the Giants, we saw him yesterday. Hard throwing right-hander Michael Broadway. Get the radar gun ready. This guy lights it up. 11 years in the minors. It's A.J. Pollock, Paul Goldschmidt, and David Peralta, 2, 3, and 4 in the Arizona ninth. 28-year-old right-hander. So Connor Pence's roster spot when Pence went on the DL. He needed another arm back there, and this guy can bring it. Jumps ahead of Pollock 0-2.
Little emergency swing that time from AJ. Emergency check swing. That slider was spinning up there. Didn't really start to take the break until it was almost right on top of AJ. That might catch the inside corner. I better just get a piece of it.
Oh, 0-2. Reaches down and pokes it just foul down the right field line. Fans, you can follow the Diamondbacks wherever you are with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. You can get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or for your tablet. Another 0-2 to A.J. Pollock. Goldie on deck. 95. 1-2. Diamondbacks looking for their first sweep in this ballpark since July of 2008. It's been almost 7 years. A really good way to bounce back for Chip Hale's team after they were swept at Dodger Stadium. 2-2.
You really like their resiliency this year, as you mentioned, bouncing back after getting swept. You just have to find a way to avoid getting swept.
Call them the D-backs, you can call them the bounce backs. They've done it all year long. Chance to get back within 2 games of 500. 2-2. And for the Giants, if they lose this one, that'll be 8 straight at home. As we mentioned earlier, they have not lost 8 straight home games since before this ballpark existed, September of '93, the last time the Giants lost 8 straight home games. And are being shut out today during this 7-game home losing streak. They've been outscored 36-16. Today, just 6 hits against Ruby De La Rosa, all of them singles. AJ strikes out.
The Giants registering their 360th consecutive sellout today. I mean, this is one of the home team friendliest ballparks in all of baseball. They love their Giants. Everywhere you go around town, you see the orange and black. They pack this place every ball game. It just seems so odd that they've on the verge of dropping 8 in a row.
Last time that happened, they played at Candlestick Park, and Barry Bonds was in his first season in San Francisco.
Had 2 20-game winners on that team, Bill Swift and John Burkett, both won 20 games.
Base hit for Goldie. He's aboard for the 4th time today, with 2 walks and 2 singles. Goldie, Goldie, Goldie. How about the Throwback Thursday rattler there? That's old school. David Peralta. Peralta singled in the 5th. He's 1 for 4. Giants will stay home. They'll play just like the Diamondbacks. They'll play a 4-game home and home with the AL West. The Mariners come in here. Night game tomorrow night, day game Tuesday, and then the Giants go up to Safeco Field for 2 games in Seattle. 0-1. Don't forget, fans, come on out to Chase Field Wednesday and Thursday for those 2 games against the Angels. Your chance to see Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, who, wow, he's having a huge comeback here. First 2 games in Anaheim, both of those games on Fox Sports Arizona. Ray and Weaver tomorrow. Helix and Richards on Tuesday. Chase Anderson pitches Wednesday against the Angels at Chase Field. Alan Webster's next start is Thursday. That's an afternoon game, Thursday matinee. dbacks.com/tickets. Use our air conditioning. Leave yours off. Come on down to the ballpark.
Good news from Mobile today. Patrick Corbin, 3 innings pitched so far, has not given up a run. Couple of hits, 1 strikeout, no walks.
Diamondbacks AA and Class A teams loaded with all-stars. We've had some good years down there, Mobile and Visalia. Here goes Goldie. The throw from Susak is in time. They got him. Just the 4th time this year Paul Goldschmidt has been caught stealing. Glenn Sherlock on the phone with Alan Campbell, the video coordinator.
Yeah, not a great jump that time. Goldie normally gets real good walking leads when he tries to steal a base. Throw was a little bit on the first base side of second. Yeah, it looked like Crawford was able to apply the tag to the back of Goldie as he went sliding by.
No challenge by the D-backs. 1-2 to Peralta is strike 3. So 2 strikeouts in the inning for Broadway. And we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Ruby De La Rosa attempting to complete his first big league shutout. And they're doing it with starting pitching. Chase Anderson flirts with a no-no here Friday night. Then yesterday, Alan Webster in his Diamondbacks debut again took a no-hitter deep into the ball game. He was outstanding. And today, it's been Ruby De La Rosa. So far, 8 innings. He's given up only 6 hits, all singles. He has walked 2 and struck out 6. He has had 11 1- or 2-pitch at-bats, 4 double plays behind him. And as he starts the 9th inning, he's at only 91 pitches.
And the double plays have been huge for the Diamondbacks today.
He'll have to work through the heart of the order here. Joe Panik, Brandon Belt, and Brandon Crawford, 2, 3, and 4 in the San Francisco 9th. And there's strike 1 to Joe Panik, who's 0 for 3. The 41st career major league start for Ruby De La Rosa. He has never thrown a complete game or a shutout. And he's ahead of Panik, 0-2. Ruby has struck out 3 of the last 4 he's faced. Daniel Hudson getting ready just in case in the Diamondback bullpen. Ruby's high for the season, 115 pitches. Ruby looking for his first win since May 12th. It's been more than a month. That's a fair ball down the left field line. Paddock just sneaks it in fair. Peralta, it's on the bullpen. He'll pick it up there, and Paddock has his 50th double. Somehow managed to keep that fair up the third base line. Giants' first extra base hit today against Ruby.
Nothing wrong with that pitch off the plate away. Paddock just got a bat on it, kept it fair into the corner, and as you said, have to deal with those bullpen mounds here at AT&T Park, both just into foul territory.
Brandon Belt 0 for 2. He walked in the first. Keep in mind, Buster Posey did not start the ball game. Casey McGee has struggled in the 5 spot tonight. He's hit into 2 double plays. So they could have Posey hit for McGee if they wanted to go that way. 1-0 to Belt. He has struck out and flied out. Out to left, Peralta. It drops in front. Paddock had to hold up, and he'll stop at third. Chip Hale's going to go get him. He wants Daniel Hudson. Well, Ruby De La Rosa has pitched a beauty here today, and they'll look to Daniel Hudson to finish off the job and the sweep. 8+ scoreless. Here comes Huddy back after this. On ball outs, and if you can, double plays behind you are Chaz Roberts' air conditioning cool plays of the game. The Diamondbacks here this afternoon turn 4 double plays behind Ruby De La Rosa.
None probably bigger than this one. Giants have put runners at first and second. Got the out in the pitcher spot, and then Norioki grounded into his first double play of the season.
And the Giants threatening here in the 9th. 2 on, nobody out. The hitter is Brandon Crawford. And on from the Diamondback bullpen, the right-hander Daniel Hudson. Joe Panik is the runner at third. Brandon Belt at first. Daniel's 23rd appearance of the year, a 3.54 ERA. Crawford is 2 for 3. He has singled twice and struck out. Giants have Had a runner reach third base for only the third time today. That's panic down there with Belt at first.
And Buster Posey lurking.
McGee is on deck. Maxwell would be behind him. The only thing about possibly hitting for McGee you have to keep in mind is that Bruce Bochy has already used Joaquin Arias and Matt Duffy as pinch hitters, his two other options at third.
I would imagine if he did find himself in a tie game, Buster Posey would probably end up playing third base. He played shortstop in college.
1-1. In there for a strike. 1-2. Just does get a piece of that one.
Well, that's a great location for that 96-mile-an-hour heater. Brandon Crawford likes that ball a little bit out over the plate. This one right in on his knuckles.
This is the kind of stuff that makes you think Daniel Hudson might be a closer down the road. A lot of possibilities for this young man moving forward. Another 1-2 pitch. It's full, 3-2. Casey McGee, who leads the National League with 14 double play balls, is on deck. 3-2 to Crawford. Got him. Big out number one for Daniel Hudson. Now you get a ground ball here and the game is over.
Well, that is a huge out. Brandon Crawford has been one of the leaders of this Giants offense all season long. Daniel Hudson just reared back and blew one right by him.
Last year, Casey McGee grounded into 31 double plays as a Miami Marlin. This year as a Giant, in just 125 plate appearances, he's hit into 14 to lead the National League. And he's up there with runners in the corners and one out. Diamondbacks trying to complete the sweep. McGee had a little bloop single to right his last time up. '96 up and in. 2-0. So far in this matchup, career-wise, it's been advantage Casey McGee against Daniel Hudson. Pretty good career numbers versus Sonny for the Giants' third baseman. 6 for 10 with a homer. Trying to get Ruby De La Rosa his first win since May 12th. Misses, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. No Giant has grounded into 3 double plays in one game since Jesus Alou in 1966. Maxwell on deck. Three-out pitch. The bases are loaded. And they will recall Maxwell. And here comes Buster Posey. He will be the tying run at the plate with one out. Mike Harkey, the slow walk to the mound.
It's only Buster Posey's second pinch hit at bat of the season. He's 0 for 1. Well, you knew we were going to see him at some point in the ball game today.
Giants not going to go quietly here. Posey hitting .295 with 9 homers. He's got a pair of hits in the series. Had an RBI double and a walk yesterday. He's hit safely in 8 straight. Panic at third, Belt at second, McGee at first.
Well, he's no Casey McGee, but he is grounded into 8 double plays this year also.
Santiago Casilla starts throwing in the Giant bullpen. There's strike one. Posey 4 for 18 career as a pinch hitter. And Hudson wants to start over.
2 for 10 with a strikeout against Daniel Hudson.
One pitch. On the ground to third. Lamb steps on the bag and completes the double play. The 5th turn by the Diamondbacks in the ball game today. Completes the sweep, and the D-backs sweep a series at AT&T Park for the first time since July of 2008.
Boy, how many times this year have we said outstanding defense? Once again, Ruby De La Rosa pitched a great game. The offense did just enough. But the defense today, once again, outstanding. Jake Lamb ends at 5 unassisted there at third base. The toss across to Goldie to finish the sweep.
4 double plays behind Ruby De La Rosa. A big one there behind Hudson makes it 5 and makes it 3 for 3 here in this series in San Francisco. The Diamondbacks, they have now won 7 of 10 against the Giants this year. And San Francisco has now lost 8 straight home games for the first time since September of 1993. They have been outscored during this 8-game home losing streak 40-16. And the Diamondbacks win this one 4-0. And Ruby De